see that sequence where he blocked Kareem twice in a row? And Kareem's standing there gaping like, what just happened? A 6'8" guy just blocked me twice.
Skip, if you don't mind me asking, can you tell the people what year was that for Kareem in which Dennis Rodman blocked his shot? Tell the people at home, what year was that for Kareem? You're 20. You know what it was.
I don't know which year
Bayless.
it was.
Do you?
Probably 1990.
No, Kareem was gone there. Skip, Skip Bayless, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You really should be ashamed of yourself, Skip. You really should. You know good and well. LeBron James. So this is what I don't understand. LeBron can get to the rim against Kawhi. He can get to the rim against Paul George. He can get to the rim against Andre Iguodala. But he couldn't get to the rim against Dennis Rodman. Now, you said these guys are some of the great defenders of all time. Paul George, they said, we've never seen anything like Paul George and Kawhi. And LeBron just took both of them to school. LeBron, as a matter of fact, Bron homeschooled them two guys before we even had quarantine. He had Paul George and Kawhi homeschooled. Like, y'all ain't got to go to school today. Work from your computer. And now you over there talking about, now Dennis Rodman going to talk about he can lock up LeBron.
I have only said that Kawhi and Paul George and Iguodala are the best defenders of their era, but they have none of the physicality that Dennis brought to pro basketball out of southeastern Oklahoma State, out of nowhere.
Right.
And to me, he changed the game, the way it was played. He was the one setting the tone for the bad boy Pistons because 1990, 91, he was the defensive player of the year, as you pointed out. And in 92, he led all of basketball in defensive win shares. So for 3 years, he was the best defensive player on the planet, setting the tone, the bad boy tone, playing in the gray area where he was trying every trick in the book to distract you, to get under your skin and into your heart. That's what he did best. So physical, so nasty, so I don't give a you-know-what. He didn't care who you were. He didn't care if it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or it's Kareem nobody. He did not care. He's just going to take the ball out of your hands, which is what he did.
So in other words, he's a bigger Lance Stevenson, Pat Bev. That's what Dennis Rodman is, a bigger, more physical Lance Stevenson, Patrick Beverley. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, he's got some Pat Bev in him, except he's 6'8" and much stronger and more physical than Pat Bev.
Yeah.
But that bulldog mentality that Pat Bev has, yes, that was Dennis Rodman.
And the antics of Lance Stevenson. Skip, you remember how he's blowing in his ear, how he's looking at him, how he's doing all those shit. Mainly, Skip, when he was in Indiana, when LeBron was in Miami.
Yeah, no, I got it. No, that's a good analogy, except Lance couldn't back it up. Lance did it during timeouts. He's going to blow in your ear. Dennis would do all of those things during timeouts, tug on your shorts, and I don't think he ever untied anybody's shoes, but he would do those kinds of things in timeouts. Then he would back it up when the ball was in play. Yeah. Lance couldn't back it up.
Skip, we know, this is what we know. Even the greatest defenders against the greatest offensive guys, you just hope to contain the numbers. If the guy gets 35, you just hope you can hold him under that. This notion that a great defender can stop a great offensive guy, you can't, Skip. You just can't. And this is why, you just hope that we can get offset. Okay, LeBron gonna give us 30. KD will probably match that, give us somewhere between 30, 32. Kawhi's gonna get his. Guys, the great players are gonna get theirs. You just hope you can offset some of that. This notion that he says he's going to lock him up, which means you ain't getting nothing today. You're going to have like 15 points. Man, stop. Stop. Skip, you don't have to embellish it. Dennis Rodman was a great defender. I'm not denying that. Dennis Rodman was a hell of a player. And guess what? They would not have won the second three-peat without Rodman. You know that. Everybody knows that. Because for 7 straight years, Dennis Rodman led the league in rebounding. For this minute, 7 straight. I know you can't see it because you don't have a monitor. 7 straight. And he was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. So in other words, he was a made man before he met Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't make him. So this notion. But This is where he leaves me. This is where I want to get off the ship because it's about to get rocky and something might happen. I don't want no parts of it. When he starts talking about he going to lock LeBron up, he can lock KD up too. Man, they need, if they lock you up, they got a better chance. Locking KD up, locking LeBron up. Skip, do you realize these are generational players? This ain't just some willy-nilly guy. You're talking about some of the all-time greats. As a matter of fact, one of the guys you're talking about, the GOAT. One guy is the GOAT.
Not the GOAT. Yeah, let's talk about the real GOAT, not the phony GOAT. The real GOAT, Michael Jordan, was the greatest mid-range jump shooter in the history of pro basketball. He scored the vast majority of his points, mid-range jump shots, fadeaways, hang, hold the pose, make it.
Off the glass.
He could separate the way nobody could separate from defenders. And LeBron, this was the first time Dennis Rodman, in his sort of, you know, in his simplicity of speech, he's not the most eloquent guy, but he called LeBron James' game simple. And that's the first time it dawned on me that's simply brilliant from Dennis Rodman because LeBron doesn't have a lot of whipped cream going on. LeBron doesn't have a way to just completely separate by shooting mid-range jump shots. He's not a very good mid-range jump shooter. He doesn't have that in his repertoire. He's either going to pull up and be hot cold from three, mostly cold, because he's a career 34% three-point shooter, or he's going to drive it, and mostly in his era, he's been able to bully every defender who ever tried to guard him. He can get to the rim at will. It's why I pull my hair out at night watching him. I just say, drive it, attack. But he's been afraid of the late game free throw line because he's a way below average free throw shooter. Well, he is. It's just a fact. Dennis would lock onto that. Dennis might send LeBron to the line a record number of times in a game, but Dennis would trust, well, he's only going to make like 65% of those, so I'll live with the 65% as opposed to KD, who can make 90% of his free throws. Dennis would have a hard time with Kevin Durant. I do not think Dennis could lock up Kevin Durant. There's way too much stuff going on. Kevin's game is not simple. He's 7 feet and he's got wingspan of 7'5". That's hard to guard. LeBron is much easier to guard than Kevin Durant.
Skip, you do realize Dennis Rodman only has 6 fouls. So it's not like he can just keep putting LeBron on the line because his butt will be out of the game. So this notion that, oh, he can get physical, well, how physical? Skip, obviously, a lot's going to depend on the era in which they play because, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, they let the guys play a little more. Now the floor is spaced. Guys have more lanes to be able to get to the basket, and now guys want to shoot the three. So a lot of that is predicated, but Skip, we'll never know. It's easy to say that now. I mean, I would love to, you know, run routes on some of the guys, Mel Blount and some of the great safety, Paul Krause, all those guys back there. But Skip, that's wishful thinking. Dennis, you did what you did. Now go back to sleep and leave the GOAT alone. The GOAT busy. We working on our documentary. Because from moving forward, Skip Bayless, you know we got cameras following us for the next 4 years. Because we on this quest. All-time leading scorer and 2 more chips. That's what we got for the people.
The phony GOAT is getting exposed by The Last Dance. And I, for one, am ecstatically happy about it.
Dennis Rodman never going to miss an opportunity to speak his mind. I want to switch gears, guys. Is Coach Belichick tanking for Trevor Lawrence? Yeah, I want to know what you guys think about this one next on Undisputed.